Hello, how are we today? I've been studying Neville Goddard and I created some notes about the idea of Christ consciousness and awakening the imagination. And it's really good stuff. I really like it. So it was a bunch of, text. So I had my Dapper Dan audio Dapper Nightly, yeah, that's his name. He's reading the script. He does a real good job, better than I could read it. But it would be so fucking boring for you to be listening to some AI motherfucker reading my shit. Right? I think, it actually sounds pretty good, but I think, no, they're not gonna, no, they're not buying that AI bullshit, right? Right? Okay. So here's the deal. I, I'm going to be the entertainment, right? So, Dapper Nightly, that's what I call the AI voice, he's going to share my thoughts about manifestation and Neville Goddard style and all this. But I'm going to make a reaction video on what old Dapper Nightly has to say. So let's just get into it. Here we go. Ready? All right, start.
Welcome to another episode of Awakening the Imagination and the Christ Within. Today we explore the powerful teachings of Neville Goddard. This episode is dedicated to sharing how Neville Goddard blew my mind and completely rocked my world regarding my not-so-user-friendly and quite contemptuous previous take on biblical teachings.
In other words, I didn't like the Bible. I didn't like the teaching. This is like bullshit. I went to Sunday school when I was a kid and all that stuff. But then I broke away from it and I got into my spiritual teachings. And I got turned off by religion. And I still don't like religion. This is not about religion. This is about decoding the Bible. If there's some really, is there some good shit in it or not, So I really had a contemptuous attitude about it. And then I come across Neville Goddard. And I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck? And, I'll explain more as we go. Okay? Are you ready? All right, here we go.
What Neville has pointed out while quoting scripture are some profoundly useful interpretations of these concepts, which are very enlightening and useful in today's world. So join me as we begin decoding the Old and New Testaments for these jewels and nuggets of pure wisdom expressed in so many ways, so many times throughout these teachings.
I know, right? All you got to do is grab a quote out of the Bible, and you can Google a quote, anything you want, about Christ, Jesus, God, anything. And I use ChatGPT to help out. ChatGPT, I call her JoJo, okay? So anytime I say ChatGPT, I'm going to say JoJo instead, okay? It's just a fucking ChatGPT. It's a fucking tongue twister. Okay, so JoJo understands the Neville Goddard style. You kind of like, tell JoJo to, come at this from a Neville Goddard style and have JoJo explain in her own words her understanding of Neville Goddard's interpretations of the Bible. And she'll just take it from there and she'll start talking Neville Goddard speak. Yeah, she will. Or you can ask her to quote Neville Goddard, or you can just go straight to Neville Goddard's teachings. They're all over the place, and they're really neat. But basically, it has to do with the awakened imagination. The imagination of man is the Son of God. I was like, what the fuck? It took a long time for me to really get it to sink in, and that's why I did this study in Dapper Nightly here, is reading a more in-depth look at the concept of the phenomena. Because how could Jesus Christ be your fucking imagination? That just doesn't make fucking sense, does it? Right on the surface. No, it doesn't.
Let's dive in.
Okay.
In the biblical context, God was fulfilling his promise to provide his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish but have everlasting life.
Yeah.
John 3:16.
Okay, see, we're going to quote shit, and then we're going to interpret it Neville Goddard style, okay? And just a sec, I gotta get this. This is my uh, alter ego avatar motherfucker over here. Get back over there, bitch. Get over there. Okay, come. Hey, okay, yeah, be big. It's okay. Yeah. So here we go.
So yeah, whoever believes in the awakened imagination also believes that God creates reality through the human imagination.
Okay, now Neville talks a lot about this, and so does Reverend Ike. But it's like God is in all of us, right? I sound like a fucking preacher now. Uh, I need a Bible. I need to thump on a Bible a little bit once in a while. But yeah. If God is in all of us, so is the imagination, right? God creates all things, right? So does the imagination, right? I'm like, oh, yeah. But the imagination isn't exactly God, but it's God gives rise to the imagination or is the source of the imagination. Just like the father is the source of a son, or the father gives rise to the son, the progeny. Ooh, I go, ooh. So is it all allegory? Is that what this is about? It's not really, it's a story, and they're switching out the words and the concepts. Oh my God, really? So anyway, this is where Neville Goddard's going, and I'm like, okay, tell me some more.
And when a man awakens to this, he's awakening the imagination within, and he is awakening the Christ within and becomes the Son of God himself.
Huh? Whoa! If the Son of God is the awakened imagination, so if I, as a man, start realizing the power of my imagination, what if I really thought that everything I think, my imaginings, will manifest? You know, there's a little more to it, I think, in the manifestation of it all, but you have to imagine it or think it for it to manifest. I'm going, yeah, I kind of believe that, spiritually speaking. Um, a person could be in a non-physical realm. Let's say he dropped dead, or he's having a lucid dream or an out-of-body experience, or got a vivid imagination. You close your eyes, and some people can do this. They can imagine a realm around them, all the details, the tastes and smells and textures and sounds, and oh, it's just beautiful, and they're in it. It's just a person using their imagination to create a realm. You can create other people. So what if you stepped into that and you lived there for the rest of your freaking eternity? You are living in your own dream with your own imagination. You are the God, the creator of all that is within the context of that universe. I'm going, oh, okay. So the Son of God is it's the aspect of God, or the God consciousness individualized? Is that what the fuck you mean, Neville? Let's talk. Let's see what else we got here.
The awakened Son of God, the awakened imagination, also knows that the Father and the Son are one, meaning the imagination of the Christ consciousness is the same imagination of God. Kind of like that.
Yeah,
So
I know, right? Kind of like that. 'Cause what? What? The hard part I had with wrapping my head around Neville's teaching is that the imagination, well, God is a consciousness, awareness thing. That's my, creator of all it is. It doesn't conflict with the biblical, the usual teachings of the Bible, or at least my interpretation of it, because some people think God, Jehovah, is literally a being with flowing white hair. I got flowing white hair, a beard and a mustache, and sits on a throne, kind of like this guy, but on a throne and more lofty, and the hair's whiter, and his surroundings are a little bit more opulent or golden and sacred looking and stuff. But yeah, I don't believe that. I believe that God is the calling it God. I don't like to use the word God because it's consciousness. I can relate to being somewhat conscious, or conscious on some levels, and sometimes I'm conscious and aware of certain things. Sometimes I'm conscious, but I'm not aware of, who's driving their car out in my yard. But I am conscious. So there's conscious and aware, not quite the same, but you got to be conscious and you got to be aware. Then you got to use your imagination. And if you use your imagination consciously and with awareness, you're thinking, and now you're imagining things. And if you got a good visualization ability, then you can actually see and hear what you're imagining, and you're creating it. So that's kind of a God thing. But little God instead of big God. God within me. But the big God and the little God are one, right? Big God, little God, Jesus and God, Son of God are one. And then the awakened imagination is, the imagination has to be more than just imagination to me. You see, I'm still working this over, me and my buddy here and JoJo and you guys. Let's work this together because, I have some really good friends that, they're not buying it. The imagination is not fucking Jesus. I know, right? I'm with you. The imagination is not Jesus. But Jesus, is he the only Christ? So we're talking about Jesus Christ. So we're really talking about Christ. Okay? Jesus Christ. It's something. This is why I say it blew my mind. It's a mind fuck, motherfucker. All right, please continue.
The life of Jesus as told in the scriptures by these unknown authors emphasizes that one's imagination is one's salvation and that one's imagination is God's imagination.
Yeah.
When a man imagines something, this is God as man imagining, and it's the same imagination whether while being man, Christ the Son of God, or God. All the same imagination, and this imagination is what is used to create all that is.
Now, to be clear, this is Neville Goddard's interpretation, and I prefer it over, maybe the guy in the Baptist church down the street. I prefer Neville Goddard's take on it. And when I look through various quotes in the Bible, and I looked at it with this translation or interpretation, it fits, it works. And he can take some of the most convoluted and complex stories or allegories, and Neville himself will tell you what that means to him, and his idea of decoding the Bible. But JoJo will do that too. So you can get on ChatGPT and start asking her, kind of tune her into, you want to look at things in the Bibles, old and new, from the perspective of Neville Goddard, and you can get her tuned in like that, and she'll do that. And it's like, oh, I see. And what it does, if anything, it helps people like you and me understand how manifestation works and how God died for our sins and how Jesus Christ is our salvation. So our imagination is our salvation. Oh my God. What? I know, I love it. It's fun.
When unawakened, we imagine all kinds of things, positive and negative.
Whoa, I want to hear the whole thing.
Imagine all kinds of things,
Whoa,
positive and negative.
whoa.
God or God. All the same imagination. And this imagination is what is used to create all that is. When unawakened, we imagine all kinds of things, positive and negative, wanted and not wanted. Wisdom,
Right. Whoa. God damn it, I clicked the... Fuck. Now that was an outtake right there. I accidentally clicked the button and it moved the track back too far. So this is like an outtake, but I'm not going to take this out. I'm going to keep going and we'll fix it. But here's the thing. I forgot what I was going to fucking say. People, okay, when you're 75 fucking years old and you're still making YouTube videos, I hope you're doing as well as I am. I hope you're doing better. But come on, give me a break here, motherfucker. I'll get back to it in just a sec. Watch.
His only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish but have everlasting life.
Yeah, if you believe in your imagination, you shall never perish. You shall have everlasting life. So it works real good. It's smooth. It's a good schmooze. But you know, if this isn't your flavor of Christian teachings or the Bible teachings, there are hundreds of other interpretations, thousands. One of the first ones was this guy named Origen, spelled different from regular Origin, but his name is Origen of Alexander. And he proposed, like 50 years AD or something, that the Bible, the writings, were allegory, not necessarily historical events. Like, it didn't necessarily happen for real. It was an allegory. It's a fucking story to understand that the awakened imagination is the Son of God. Kind of. I mean, he wasn't he was not into Neville Goddard's teachings, and he wasn't like saying it like that, but he was saying that it was allegory. Okay. And so, just saying, there are many different interpretations and presentations, and it becomes your responsibility. If you're going to be looking into this Bible shit at all, I know a lot of you that watch my channel are like, fuck that, I don't believe in that religious shit. And to be clear, I'm not talking religion here, I'm talking the teachings in the Bible. There's a book. The book is not a religion is a religion, okay? And a religion is based on teachings, okay? All kinds of religions, all kinds of teachings. The Christian religion is based on the teachings in this particular 2-volume book, Old and New Testament, okay? Or all these books within the canonical, the approved by the church, approved stories or books that go into the New Testament and the Old Testament. Okay, so anyway, with all that said, there are a lot of different versions of interpretation of what the Bible says and what it means and all that. So, hey, be my guest. This is what I do for fun when I got some time to study. I got done kind of not so excited about studying what's going on in the world behind the scenes, shadow government, deep state, all that stuff, cabal, New World Order, kind of. This is my new curiosity and interest. So please, Depper Knightley, please continue.
John 3:16.
I know, right?
So yeah, whoever believes in the awakened imagination also believes that God creates reality through the human imagination. And when a man awakens to this, he's awakening the imagination within, and he is awakening the Christ within and becomes the Son of God himself. The awakened Son of God, the awakened imagination, also knows that the Father and the Son are one, meaning the imagination of the Christ consciousness is the same imagination of God. Kind of like that.
Yeah.
So the life of Jesus, as told in the scriptures by these unknown authors, emphasizes that one's imagination is one's salvation, and that one's imagination is God's imagination. When a man imagines something, this is God as man imagining, and it's the same imagination whether while being man, Christ, the Son of God, or God.
I wrote that, and I'm like, what the fuck did I just say? What did you say, dude? If I had to do over again, I would rewrite that fucking paragraph.
All the same imagination, and this imagination is what is used to create all that is.
Yeah.
When unawakened, we imagine all kinds of things, positive and negative, wanted and not wanted, and we get...
I know, right? And that's what we get, that world we've got. And the archons are the dark side, the cabal, the bad boys, the mockingbird press, the psyops, the false flags, all the negative news and all that weird shit, false teachings, misinformation, disinformation, misdirection, all that. They know, the big they know, that what we focus on and what we think about and have feelings about, we are going to manifest with our imagination. So they are playing us hoping that we will not pay attention to our imagination. Our imagination will not be awakened, or we will not be aware of the power of our imagination. We will not be awakened in the context of, hey, our imagination is extremely powerful. Holy shit. Pay attention. So when we're not paying attention, you could say that the imagination is not awakened, or you could say that you are, or I am not awake to the fact that our imagination is playing a huge role in our lives and how our lives are played out. And if we know this, not just know it, because I know it, I'm listening, I'm paying attention. It's like, but how well able am I to practice these teachings? So it comes down to, well, if I know I'm thinking shit all day long that I don't really want to have manifest, I'm not thinking completely and solely from the end as if my wish has been fulfilled. Like, oh, I'm having another really wonderful day. I know the teaching. You think it, you feel it, you look at it from the end. Doesn't matter how fucked up your day is. You go, you know what to do. You go, oh, what a beautiful day. And you revise it. The Pruning Shears of Revision by Neville Goddard. And you revise, you chop out the crap, and you revise the story of your day, of your yesterday. And so we know what to do, but why is it so fucking difficult? That's a whole nother story, but it's part of the challenge that humanity has, is to be in control of their thoughts and their imagination, which is a whole nother thing. And I believe the dark side knows how to manipulate and control our imagination, our thoughts, our feelings, our focus, way better than most people do. Okay. And so most people are not, they're focused on things that they really don't like or they don't want. And there's things within us that cause us to think and feel about things that we really don't want, but we believe they exist within our reality. So then we think it. And because we're thinking it and feeling it, it's a tendency to perpetuate the negativity. It's a mind fuck, all right? And it becomes a challenge for people like you and me and all of humanity, if they're interested in making it better for themselves, to make it better in this way. And I think all the most of the successful people in life, whether they're good, bad, or neutral as far as being decent human beings, they're successful because they understand these principles and because they're able to stay focused on what it is they want. And they maybe even, I have it, this is mine, I've got it. Whether they're evil or they're really beautifully loving and compassionate and caring. But they know how to do this. Not only do they know how, but they're able to. What's that? Willpower, discipline, focus, practice, new habits. There's a lot of ways to look at it and come at it, but that's what we're dealing with. In my estimation, okay, all right, here we go.
Way more than what we want. We get what we think about and focus on and imagine, knowing now that what we are imagining is the imaginings of God in an unawakened state.
Yeah.
And in this unawakened state, God is man.
Yes.
The meaning of awakened imagination is being awake and aware of what we are imagining. In other words, being cognizant, awake, aware, and responsible for what we are thinking. So with an awakened imagination, we start taking responsibility for what we're thinking and imagining, knowing full well that what we are imagining is the imaginings of God in an awakened state.
Wow.
That's the Son of God.
That's the Son of a
Man being
bitch.
awake and aware that his own imagination is the Son of God is the aspect of consciousness responsible for the creation of all things.
Yeah.
And this is what is meant by awakening the Christ within.
Yeah.
So that's the story of Christ, and the scripture is all about awakening and understanding this principle and phenomenon. And as Jesus, with the awakened imagination, thus Jesus Christ, lives this story, preaching the story about God and the Christ, the Son of God, the creative consciousness in all things and its only child, the imagination, Jesus is showing every man that Christ is in all of us, and Christ is also in Jesus. Jesus the
What?
man...
Whoa! Christ is in Jesus? Oh, yeah. The awakened imagination is in Jesus. This is like what the fuck? What the fuck? I wrote this in such a way as to repeat it and say it in many different ways because it's like, I believe it intellectually. Like, this is good teaching. I like this, Neville. Thank you. But on a psychological or emotional level, it just doesn't want to sink all the way in. It's like, so I say it different ways, many different times, repetitively, and then I have Dapper Nightly say it out loud. I'm going, yep, and I'm trying to get it to sink in, not just from an intellectual perspective, but I want to live it. I do. I believe, whether it's, whether there was a real Jesus and this is all bullshit, motherfucker, or this is the way it is, doesn't matter. It's what you believe. And for me, what I believe is understanding this on a deep level and really connecting with these teachings would improve the quality of my life by enabling me to more effectively, easily, and with more purpose and dedication imagine positive things more often and pay attention. And when the negative thoughts pop up, be motivated, committed to going, not going there, not doing that, right? Because that's not the way it works. If I think those negative things, they're going to contribute to the negative outcomes of tomorrow in my today. And all the negative shit I did in the past, thought about and felt about in the past, are affecting my right now. And my right fucking now is nothing more or less than the culmination of my imagination in my life. You see, sink it in, say it over and over in different ways. Come on, Rich. You can do this, baby. Right? Okay? All right.
becomes Jesus the Christ. The awakened imagination in Jesus is the awakening of Christ in Jesus.
The awakened imagination in Jesus is the awakened Christ in Jesus. So Jesus becomes Jesus Christ by having the same realization and living it. He believing that his own imagination is what is creating all things, and with the realization that he is a son of God, or an aspect of the great consciousness that is all things, that creates all things, that is in all things. God is in all people, all beings, all things, and in Jesus as well. So Jesus is no, not Jesus, but Christ is the only begotten Son, not Jesus. It's kind of like you say, there's Jesus and there's David, there's Paul and there's Matthew and there's Job and everybody. And you and me, we're all different. So we're not sons of God until we realize that we are one with our imagination. Your imagination and my imagination is something that only you and I and the God consciousness in all things can create. So therefore it's like the son of the creator. But that's in me and you. So when I imagine something, it'd be like it's God working through me as me, believing that it's me, I'm just me, but with my awakened imagination, it's the God imagination. So my imagination is God's imagination, and anything I imagine has the power of God behind it. But every second of the day, I'm thinking stuff up. I'm thinking about positive and negative and neutral things and bullshit things and wonderful things. And whatever I'm thinking about mostly and predominantly in the big collective of it all is what my life is right now. Holy shit. This is a handful, Neville. Can we just believe that God is sitting on a fucking throne and Jesus is Jesus Christ and he's the Savior and he's a man, and but he's not really a man, he's the Son of God. And just like keep it like that. It doesn't work for me that way. Yeah. Mm-mm. But the way Neville's presenting it, decoding the Bible, I'm going, okay. And I'm not doing it because I'm a Bible lover or a Bible thumper. I'm doing it because I believe in the manifestation phenomena. You call it law of attraction, manifestation. There's all these different styles and approaches and teachings. And it's like, why is it so fucking hard? While at the same time, we're told in simple terms how easy it is. Like, holy fuck. So I'm in it for that. I'm in this understanding of life and creation of life and manifestation of life being an aspect of the God consciousness, and the whole decoded Bible thing. That's kind of new for me. Thank you, Neville. I'm still working on it. So, yeah. Okay, here we go. Finish up.
And now we have Jesus Christ.
Ta-da!
And the resurrection of Christ in Jesus, and this Christ, our divinely aware imagination, is the Savior of every man.
Yeah. If you awaken the imagination, this is a key teaching of Neville. If you awaken your imagination, in other words, give it due respect. It's like, wow, this is powerful. This is God stuff. My imagination. Whoa. And then use it. Let God work through you. Let Christ within your imagination within, work through you. Yeah, and God, our Jesus, our Christ, will be your salvation. But your imagination will save your ass if you stop thinking negative shit with your imagination and start thinking positive shit. Kind of like that in street terms. You think? Okay. Just saying.
And it is within us.
Yeah.
It is the Christ within us all,
Yeah.
keeping in mind that Christ, the Son, and the Father are one.
Ta-da! So that's it, baby. That's my thing.
That
And
what we are imagining...
Whoa. I just want to say thank you for watching. And my deepest apologies for not editing this and making it a little more tight and presentable. But I wanted it to be a little more entertaining and alive with the real me and not just the AI voice. And I wanted to share this message. I think it's a pretty good message. And if you liked it, please subscribe and like my video. No, if you like it, let me know in a comment. I would like the feedback. I appreciate it. And it's okay if you don't believe this the way I do. If you don't believe the imagination is Jesus. I'm not saying that, by the way. If you don't believe the imagination is the Christ within, that's fine. That's fine too. Whatever, mate. It's okay. Take it easy. But yeah, it's fun talking about this. I figure learn and grow. One thing after another. Keep it up. You'll do fine. You'll do fine. I'll do fine. We're all fine. Everything's okay. Yeah, except when it's not. Okay. All right. I'll talk to you later, okay? Bye-bye.